Hello, 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 beautiful, and welcome back to Paddle Forward, Navigating Life's Currents, the space where we truly try to explore all the waves that life throws our way, whether they're, of course, calm or steady, or choppy and unpredictable. As usual, I'm your host, Anacani Walters, nurse turned entrepreneur, woman's wellness advocate, and of course, your fabulous, and friendly paddleboarding guide through life's transitions, both on and off the water. And today I wanted to dive into something that I really think is going to resonate with all of us, which is letting go. It's the new year. It's the first podcast of 2025 for me. And I really have been struggling trying to just find the time with my son being out of daycare full time. And I was like, oh man, what should I talk about? And, trying to overthink everything. And I'm doing the best that I can at this point. So I was like, what can I talk about that would be easy for me to talk about, that would resonate with everybody and would make sense for January 2025? Because at the end of the day, I used to be very keen and overthinking, try to be a perfectionist, and would stop myself from actually doing anything, especially in my business, if it wasn't perfect, if it wasn't ready. And just this feeling of like, well, what if somebody doesn't like it, or they make fun of me? What if? And it really is like, what do you tell your people all the time? You tell them, beautiful, you are doing the best you can, and that, my love, is always enough. And so I had to tell myself that, and just be like, Anacani, just record this. I am literally in my car on the way to the grocery store, pulled over on the side of my road, just so that I can record this, so that it's at least done. And then tonight or tomorrow morning, I can find the time to actually upload it so that it's there and I have it, so that I'm not missing this week's podcast. So please bear with me. Give me grace as I give you guys the same love and just support as we move into 2025. But going back to what I wanted to really talk about in letting go, and letting go of the baggage that's weighing us all down. For everybody, it's going to be different. And for me, it's a lot of expectations that I've outgrown, and the fears that keep me from basically paddling forward. And I think we can all relate to that, whether it's actual paddle boarding, trying something new, moving forward in your business, moving that needle, maybe increasing your financial revenue, um, your parenting, anything like that. And so whether you're, again, a mom juggling that mental load, or maybe you're a non-entrepreneur, a mamapreneur, a wellnesspreneur, and you're just trying to keep up with the grind, or you're someone who maybe is starting to feel stuck in that same old current. I've been through so many of these situations, and the truth of the matter is that I just want to share hope that will actually hit home for some of you. And so I want to just, as always, grab your metaphorical paddle and let's just get to it. And so I wanted to start with the power of letting go, because that's where it really starts. It started for me, and why letting go is so hard. If you're like me, you've probably spent a lot of time holding on to things because it makes us feel safe, even when they're really dragging us under the water, essentially. And for years, I've really held on to this need to prove myself. If you know my story, was a workaholic in the medical field, and really I equated my worth with how busy I was. And I had 3 jobs. I was working probably 150 hours a week, which is crazy. I'd work like 60 to 80 hours in my nursing job. And then I had a part-time job working as an OR secretary at a hospital, working 2 12-hour shifts back to back, so Saturdays and Sundays. And then some nights I would work as a bar back at a wine and bistro restaurant down the street from my condo. And the thought of just working harder, longer, sacrificing more, I'd spend so much time making excuses why I couldn't go home, because I truly in my mind felt like, I can't, like, what is my job going to do without me? Like, they're not going to be able to figure out, like, I am needed here. And I'd I'd feel like the more I did, the more I pushed, I'd finally feel like enough. And spoiler alert, that current took me straight into burnout and adrenal fatigue. I ended up getting diagnosed with two heart conditions at the age of 25, and it pretty much like just changed my entire life because I was active. I just finished my first marathon. I was like feeling like I was on the top of the world, and it just like spiraled down. Like it got to the point where like I was suffering from nosebleeds every day from my blood pressure being so high. I was terrible at stress management, and it was like taking a total, like I couldn't sleep. I was having mental fog. I couldn't keep two thoughts to myself. I couldn't remember anything. I was suffering from 12-hour, headaches from my just everything being awful. And so I don't want people to go that way. And the truth is that I had to learn the hard way that letting go wasn't just about giving up. It was about creating the space. It was about releasing that grip that I had to work so hard to prove myself. And this grip that we all try to have on something so that we can actually start paddling towards what we're meant to go towards. A lot of my stuff came from past traumas that I was holding on to. And I use this analogy with my yoga therapist that she literally allowed me to take the baggage of my past, all the mistakes I've made, all the things that I judged myself on, that were literally massive trash bags that I was just carrying, dragging through life behind me, feeling so ashamed when I would walk with them because people could see this massive baggage. It felt that was the reflection that I could feel, and just felt ashamed, and like people could see all the bags behind me of all the skeletons in my closet. And she literally helped me not be ashamed of those bags of trash and transformed those bags of trash into literally balloons that have literally helped me like fly forward in my life. And so I just want you to take a second to really think about what you're holding on to. Maybe it's an outdated expectation. Maybe it's a job that's draining you, or a relationship that no longer really aligns with you, or is making you turn into a person that you yourself don't even like, which again, I've experienced. Maybe it's the weight of other people's opinions. I was huge at, judging myself based on what I thought other people would perceive me. And whatever it is, I just want you to imagine yourself putting it in a box, sealing it up, and leaving it on the shore of the beach. Like, you don't need to take it where you're going in 2025 and beyond. Paddleboarding, it's my happy space. And that's kind of what transformed, or what kind of birthed Paddle Forward podcast. Because to me, paddling is just so much more than just being on a board and paddling. There's so many lessons that I've learned through paddleboarding, in addition to lessons that I've learned from the water itself. And it has taught me so much about the process of letting go. So if you can picture, you're out on the water and the wind starts to pick up, and your natural instincts might be to fight against the current and the water, and gripping the paddle tighter and squatting down further, maybe to the point where you have to now get on your knees or sit down to have the true power of your entire core to just try to, drive forward and trying to control every single movement. But the thing is that sometimes the best move is just to stop fighting and just adjust your stance and work with the flow instead of against it. And if you've ever taken a stand-up paddleboard lesson, you'll know that I tell you, don't paddle when the waves come at you. Relax, bend your knees, embrace whatever's about to come underneath you, and then you start to paddle afterwards. Because if you try to paddle with it at the wrong time, it's literally going to feel like you're giving so much, you're putting so much effort, and you're doing literally nothing. And I feel like life's not any different. Fighting to hold on to the things that we've outgrown is literally like paddling against the wind. It's exhausting and you will get nowhere. But when you start to just let go, when you release that need to control everything, we really start to then open ourselves up to the possibilities of moving forward with less resistance. And so I really try to carry this into every aspect of my life, whether it's letting go of the mom guilt that sneaks in, which we all have had, the fear of failure in my business, or even the unrealistic health goals that don't really honor where I am right now. I'm 43, about to be 44. I am really starting to see some changes in my body, and I know what's coming next. I'm not afraid of it. It's called menopause, and not everybody talks about it, but it is a huge transition for women. And again, I'm a big advocate on how society sees women when they go through special transitions. And I just want to help women understand this is not the end. It is truly the beginning. And so I want you to let me tell you that the freedom on the other side is so worth it. When you start really looking and making these hard decisions, because I know that what I'm asking you is not easy. I've been through it, and it is not by any means easy. But again, the reward is just, I can't really even describe it in words. Like, at certain times when I really reflect on the changes that it's created, positive, by letting go of a lot of this stuff, like it could literally bring me to tears. But you're like, okay, Anacani, you might be thinking, this sounds freaking awesome. Thank you so much. But I don't even know where to start. And I wanted to at least give you guys some simple steps, okay, that I've used personally, and that I've learned some of these through some of the amazing people and coaches that I've actually hired over the last 2 years. And so the first one is, you need to recognize the actual weight. Like, what is taking up space in your life that no longer serves you? What are you spending time on, obsessing or dreading or thinking about that really isn't, they're just fears that you are making up in your mind of things that might not actually be happening. It could be a habit, it could be a mindset, a role that you've been playing for too long. And you need to write it down. You need to see it on paper, and seeing it makes it that much more powerful for you to recognize it. Because a lot of the times we go and live through life with some of this stuff kind of like out of sight, out of mind. It doesn't really like exist if I don't see it or talk about it or think about it. And so you really need to bring it into perspective. And then the second is reframing your mindset. Kern Lima says you don't need everyone to believe in you. You just need one person to do that. And that one person is you. So really stop waiting for permission to let go, waiting for somebody to tell you that it's okay, or to give you the universe to give you some kind of like glorious sign. Like, you need to learn how to listen to your own intuition. And if it's something that's external, something meaning that you're afraid that if you do something, or you let go of a relationship, or you let go of a job, or let go of whatever it is, that you're going to be judged by other people. And Mel Robbins just came out with this new book, and it echoes that. Just let them. Like, it's not about convincing others to let you go. It's about letting them go and then freeing yourself. One of my favorite lines from Jim Kwik is, if you fight for your limitations, you get to keep them. And so if you're continuously repeating the same negative situations, the same negative situation, the same negative like environment or situation or mindset, you're just fighting for that limitation that you have put on yourself. And so you really need to change that mindset. You really need to let go. So like one of the things that I've really been working on is that I'm awful at remembering people's names, and I have just not found a good way of remembering people's names yet. So you see how I like that was super negative, but I ended it with yet, and that was the one of the very first steps that I learned to do, is that what if it's really hard for you to switch the mindset to like change something that you've always said that was negative and change it to something positive, just like all of a sudden, and just repeat that all the time. If that's like too much, that's too big of a step or too big of a leap for you, then just add yet at the end of everything that you say that's negative. So like, I'm a slow reader. I can't read very fast yet. Or I can't remember anybody's names. I'm so awful at remembering names. I can't remember anybody's names yet. And so you kind of have to reframe it, and it needs to kind of like, you have to think about how to frame it so that you can end it with yet. But I'm not losing any weight yet. I can't find a good relationship yet. I haven't been able to have enough courage to get on a stand-up paddleboard yet. And it just, that little three little, it's not 3 words, it's just a one word that's 3 letters. It's like so freeing. And so just try it. Again, small steps equal big progress in the long term. And this, however long we have on earth, you have to be willing to do these small changes, because you're here for the long game. Kind of like a marathon. Life is not a sprint. It is truly a marathon. And the third thing that I wanted to leave you with is just taking small, brave steps, which is, what we just literally talked about. And letting go doesn't mean that you have to leap into the unknown all at once. Starting small. Maybe it's just saying no to a commitment that you don't have energy for. Maybe it's finally having that tough conversation or closing the door that's, kind of been open too long. Communication is such a big key in parenting, and sometimes it does require hard conversations, but just even opening up one small sentence can truly change the direction of a relationship. And so I promise you, every time that you release something, just tell yourself that you trust yourself and you are moving forward. Because that life doesn't work where we can go backwards. Life is a current that is constantly moving forward. And whether you are ready or not, that water is not going to slow down or stop. And sometimes if you are too resistant for it, it may just pick up. And so, before I wrap up, I just want to leave you with like just a simple exercise that you can really do anytime you kind of feel stuck. And it's just a really nice mindfulness practice that you can, think of it like the drop and the drift. And I want you to just close your eyes and imagine that you're standing on a shore with a heavy backpack, whether it's a beach or a lake, wherever, just any type of large body of water. And as you close your eyes and you're starting to really see yourself, really start to just kind of try to make this visualization as specific as you can. Try to see if you can smell, if it's next to an ocean, that salty water smell. Is it windy? Is it overcast? What are you wearing? Are you barefoot? Listening, can you hear the water kind of hitting that shoreline? Can you hear any other animals? Is it sunny? Can you feel the warmth kissing your skin? And then I want you to think about the backpack. What does it look like? What color is it? How does it feel carrying it on your shoulders? The weight, is it digging into your shoulders themselves? And now I want you to focus on all the things that's inside this backpack. Things that you're ready to let go of. The weight of the fears, the weight of regrets, the weight of maybe expectations. And one by one, I want you to take them out and name them. And when you're ready, I want you to toss them into the water. And they're not going to sink. They're not just going to like vanish and go like nowhere. They're going to stay floating. You're going to be able to see them. But I want you to resist the urge to go in and grab them. I want you to just watch them float away and feel yourself getting lighter. Feel that weight of that backpack strap digging into your shoulders, feeling more comfortable. Now, if you're a paddler, maybe you have a paddleboard next to you. And you can visualize yourself putting the paddle now on the water. And if you've never done this, and maybe this is something that fear has held you back from experiencing, visualize yourself on that board, taking that deep breath, getting on that board and paddling forward. Letting go is an act of courage. It's you choosing yourself, choosing your growth, choosing your future, really over the weight of your past. And Jim Kwik says, the only mistake in making mistakes is not learning from them. And so, just as we start to just head into 2025 and you get better at letting go as a process, I know it's not going to always be easy, but again, I promise you it's so worth it. And on the other side of that release is true freedom, true strength, and really a current that's ready to carry you forward to whatever you want, whatever you're really truly desiring in life. And so if this episode spoke to you, I'd love, love, love to hear about it. Share your thoughts, share your own stories about maybe your own experiences of letting go, or even the things that you're ready to release this year. I just want to keep this conversation going. You can find me on all social medias, whether you're following me at Fat Mermaids or following me at Anacani Walters. Or if you're a heart-led entrepreneur and are finding me in my new channel at Empower Her Wave, check out any of my profiles. There's totally so many ways to connect with me. I want to thank you for being here with me, for paddling forward together, and for just trusting me to navigate life's currents with you. I really, really wish you super, super many blessings and just so much happiness for you this year. But until next time, I want you to stay strong, stay curious, and of course, as always, stay beautiful and keep paddling forward.